Alright, so welcome back to another video. So today's video, I'm going to be doing a facelift on this 2012 Honda Civic LX 4-door sedan. So, if you're familiar with this generation of Civic, 2012 was kind of a unique year. It was the only year that it looked like it did, and then Honda made some changes for the 2013 year. So although I do really like the look of the 2013 through 15 Civic versus the 12, it wasn't obviously worth it to just make the upgrade for no reason. But thanks to someone being very careless in a parking lot, they kind of took care of that for us and ripped the front end off. And so now, taking the opportunity, while we're fixing the car, we're going to go ahead and upgrade to the 2013 looking front end. So the main things to do this project, you'll need the grille assembly, obviously the bumper cover. You'll need there's a trim piece you'll see that goes on top of the grille that is fastened in there, and you'll need a bunch of the various trim clips. So I'll have everything that I use in the description, links to it, to make it as easy as possible. Now would be the time if you wanted to add fog lights to do that. I'm not going to be doing that. I'm just going to be going from basically a 2012 LX or EX front end to a 2013 LX or EX front end. So for instance, we're going to have to take this grill piece here, and again, I'll have all this stuff down in the description, and we're going to have to add it like this. And that will actually form where it attaches to the bottom of the car underneath, and it will give, it's called the lower grille assembly. So one thing to note, I was able to reuse the Honda emblem from the old grille, so I did have to break the tabs to get it off, and then I just used some plastic trim and emblem adhesive and glued the new emblem onto this aftermarket grille. We're reusing, this is the styrofoam piece that covers the aluminum front bumper. You can reuse that. It's basically just a few chrome pieces that have to be attached to the grille, and then the grille is attached to the bumper with those panel retaining clips. I'll show you every step. It's actually a really easy conversion. As far as getting the old bumper off, like I said, ours was ripped off for us, but to get it off, there's just a series of the clips under the hood, about 4 of them, that you take out. Underneath the car, there's the plastic trim clips that you pull out along the bottom, and then there's a screw on each side, right here, that has to come out. And so I got to take them out. As I said, the bumper was ripped off, but luckily this bracket right here is still intact. Not, you'd have to get new brackets. And the same thing where the bumper pushes in under the headlight here. All this is still intact. Okay, so one thing to note, I ordered this bumper on eBay. It came fully painted. You can see, they did a good job painting it. But how they save a bunch of money, and how I saved a bunch of money with this bumper, it was a little only, it was about $330 with free shipping, and that came painted, is they fold the bumper in half, so it's in a much smaller package, and this causes a few issues. You can see here's where one of the lines where they folded it. The paint actually isn't damaged, it's just the plastic is kind of warped, and that's going to make it hard to get into place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a heat gun, and very carefully, I don't want to boil the paint or anything, I'm just going to heat this area up and try to get this straightened out. They say you can leave it out in the sunlight, but I'm not going to have enough sunlight today to really do that. So I want to kind of get this, so it'll kind of lay the way it's supposed to. And then on this side, it's not quite as bad. It's just down here. Actually, it just tore the bumper just a hair. It's not going to be, you're not even going to see it, but I mean, for the price savings, it's really worth it. If you want to spend about $600, they will not fold it when they send it to you. So just depends on your budget. I thought I'd risk it and see how it turns out, and we'll be able to work with it. Like I said, it's just going to take a little more work here to get it straightened out first. All right, so the first part is to get this lower piece snapped into the bumper. So a lot of it, there's just clips that snap from the bumper into this piece here. And then down at the very bottom here, there'll be some push pins. So just want to line everything up. So you can see I've lined them up, and then just push, and it kind of engages these tabs. You want to make sure it does engage the tabs. The same thing down on this bottom row. You hear it click. Now you can see, if we look down here, there's a hole here, a hole here, here and here, there, etc. across the front. So what we'll do is we'll take our bumper pins here, there'll be links to them in the description, and we're going to go ahead and stick them through, and then we're going to push this forward, and that will lock it into place. I'll show you one of them here. See? Just like that. We're going to do that all the way around. Alright, so got that piece in. You just want to make sure everything is snapped in tightly together. And then you can see this is the worst spot on the bumper where it was folded. Luckily this is the bottom of the bumper. You actually won't even see it, but I'm going to work this with a little more heat and just try to get this flattened out right here. And it will pull it into place when we go to put it in the car, but that's the worst spot right there. Alright, so the bumper is upside down. I've got it supported on this box here so I can work on stuff. So next I'm going to take, this would be this trim piece here. You can see it's got these little plastic clips. So it pretty much clips in. You may have to get in there from behind it to kind of pull them into place. Alright, so looking at it from the back, so kind of the best way to show you this is I'm going to push it in. And we want this plastic tab to get a little screwdriver, but we want the plastic tab to grab up behind here. All right, so here's what it looks like now. We get everything snapped into place. All right, so we know that's not going anywhere. You can see from the bumper folding process, got a little bit of a, you know, where it's kind of pulled out of shape right here, but not to worry because the grill will fix that. So that's the next thing I'm going to be putting on. I'm going to take the grill, and it kind of along the bottom edge here fits into this little track in the bumper and slides into place. And then from the back side, see there's holes on the grill, there's holes on the bumper. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to use those retaining clips, and we're going to clip the grill to the front end. Now there's also, to make it a little bit easier, before I put that on, there's a chrome piece that goes right here. All right, this is really going to give the grill some rigidity. So you can see there's clips that engage the tabs on the grill, and then there are 1, 2, 3, 4 screws that need to be installed. If we look at our old grill here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 screws on the old grill. We can just take those out and reuse those on this new grill. It's the same exact thing. Fit this. After you get all your parts clipped together, then tighten these screws down easily until they're tight. Alright, so that's what I mean. Kind of set it in place. show you these, a little bit different, come up. These come up from the bottom and snap in. And remember, like I said, you want to make sure this little ridge is pushed in to the slot on the bumper. And then you just work your way across. I'll get this one in, and then like I said, kind of pull the bumper into shape over here and get the rest of the clips put in. All right, so as you can see, this last trim piece goes right here. It's clipped into place. There's a screw on each end, screw hole, and there were 2 screws left in the grill, so I can use those. And these holes, or this where it bolts, is gonna fit right where the hole is on each side, where that trim, it goes all the way through the bumper. And then I'll show you, we'll probably have to use some kind of washer on the back so the screw will actually hold this in place, but I'll show you that here in a second. All right, so on the back here, so you probably need a washer. And this will go right here. You can see why we need the washer, so it doesn't just pull right through. Okay, don't want to make it too tight. Strip it out, it's just plastic. Alright, so we are ready to go ahead and put this on the front of the car. Alright, so before I can actually go ahead and put the bumper on, we're going to deal with this piece. So this piece had to be bought also, and like I said, it's in the description. What this does is this mounts to here and then gives the front of the grill something to mount to. So it's a little bit better. The only thing in the way now, this little piece of plastic under here is slightly in the way of letting it go back all the way, and obviously this would be different, probably a different part. So I'm thinking that what I'm gonna have to do is kind of trim this at an angle like this, because the new grill is gonna come like right up to it here. So this whole part is gonna have to be kind of trimmed up. I don't really want to remove it because it does help funnel air through into the radiator, so I'm just going to trim it where I think it needs trimmed. Just kind of test fitting real quick. Alright, so you can see there's these tabs. They have to slide in the little groove like that. Okay, and you can see how that's gonna, the clips are gonna go all through here, hold the front where it needs to be. Then we want to push all the tabs in, make sure our gaps look good. See over here, I haven't pushed them into the headlight yet. Alright, the thing I almost forgot was these little bolts that are right here. I put them back in. That's what's gonna bolt through right here and here. So I need to take those out and then reposition this. All right, now this should be a little bit easier. Bumpers that are on here are too high for this hood. Alright, so I'm going to take a minute and go ahead and get the bottom of the bumper going here. As far as this goes, I'm just going to retuck this. Alright, so I got it fastened all along the bottom, and it just connects just like the factory bumper did before. Alright, you want to make sure you're clipped in under the headlight properly. And now the only thing we need to address is the top here. So The 2013 actually had a different hood, had very similar lines, but there's a little more space right here on the hood. So when we shut this, it is making slight contact with the plastic. So like I said, I put the factory bumper back in, and it's right about the level of this plastic. So this high spot here is hitting. And like this spot here is probably hitting along with this spot here. So I think the easiest thing to do would be to just take a razor knife and cut this here and here, here and here, and then cut this notch out. That way we don't have to slam the hood extremely hard to get it to engage the latch. Alright, so this one we had to be really careful because the hood popper's under there, so keep that in mind. Alright, so once I cut these out, and then I took a sledgehammer, and this is where you got to be really careful, and I just massaged, just lightly tapped that area right there, just in a little bit. Now there's a good inch and a half between there and the top of the hood, so don't hit it too hard. You do not want to, you know, get to the end, to the top of the hood there. Now you see, so I got to shut the hood. Perfect. So the reason why this is again, the 2013 had a different hood with a slightly different line. So it wasn't technically ever meant to go on, you know, with this front end. But we made it work. And you can see the lines look good. Obviously, like I said, the only reason I did this was because we needed to replace the front bumper and grille anyway due to an accident. So would I do this? Maybe. I mean, I think it looks a lot better, but it really helps that we had to do it. It's actually cheaper because the 2013 to 15 is much more common than just the single year 2012 bumper. I was able to get this bumper painted cheaper, about $200 cheaper, and much faster. It didn't have to be custom ordered to fit this car. So the link below, they have multiple colors, popular colors in stock and ready to ship immediately from the company. It's not really an endorsement for this company. I've never, the first time I've used them, but obviously they have flex agent in the paint since they can fold the bumper in half and it doesn't crack or anything, but I don't know how well it'll hold up over time. But I think it turned out really good. I did all of this for around $500. So the whole front end was replaced for about 500 bucks. All right, so that's all there is to it. That's how we do a 2012 to 2013 facelift on your Honda Civic. Like I said before, everything I used will be in the description below. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave them in the comments section. Subscribe for more great videos. Be sure to like the video if it helped you out. And until next time, we'll see you later.